and your partner, spouse, friends, any relationship, do you argue? And how do you make sure that that argument does not escalate into something much larger than the topic at hand? Well, our next guest has some great tips. We're joined by Lisa Brookman, psychotherapist with wisewomencanada.com. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
We're going to discuss 5 different things, 5 tips out there. So let's jump into them right away. Your first one is deal with your emotions first, Lisa. What do you mean by that exactly?
Absolutely. You know, I was just telling you before we started that I was having a little argument with my husband
last night. Which you put us all into shock because you're here to talk about that.
Exactly,
right?
and he reminded me that I'm coming to talk about this, so told me to look at my points. So when you're emotional and when you're agitated, sometimes you get over the top. You say things you wouldn't normally say. Your heart is racing. I always tell my clients, take a step back, take a little bit of time, process what you want to say, and then meet back, almost like an adult timeout.
Yeah, so Lisa, is it fair to do that? So let's say I'm in an argument with you, and then can I actually say, Lisa, you know what, can we just take a time out here, and let's both go to our own little space, and then we'll come back and continue the discussion.
The argument will be much more constructive that way, and I recommend it. I try to do it myself when I can.
Right.
But it's a really great way of calming down, coming back, and really having an argument using the facts rather than kind of all the emotion attached to it.
Second up is aim to have a resolution.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
This is the most important.
Okay.
Lots of clients have arguments. They'll come into my office. They'll say, we argued about this, we'll argue about that, but there's no resolution. So then the next argument comes, and they're still upset what happened last week, and it just snowballs. So no matter what, sit down with your partner, argue, say whatever you have to say, and then agree to disagree, come together, whatever it is, but then move on from that. Don't hold on to it.
Next seems to be human nature when we get into arguments, is where we go on the attack, and you're saying don't go on the attack. It's very important.
When you go on the attack, the other person goes on the defense. So anything you're trying to say to them, any point you're trying to get across is usually lost. So say things that have meaning. Don't attack. Don't say bad words, foul language. It doesn't work. Say what you're saying, even if there's a bit of emotion, even if you want to say, you know, I'm very angry at you because, or I'm disappointed in you because. Using those I words rather than saying you, it makes the argument, again, much more constructive and much more open for resolution.
Sometimes I would imagine you have the opposite, too, right? Where you have the one person that's on the attack and the other that's, you know, they don't want to say, they don't want to talk. Is that a danger as well for that quiet person that just says, I don't like conflict?
Well, you know, there's always 2 players. Sometimes people are more quiet, some more animated. Play your roles. Don't become more animated, but listen and say to the person, if you feel like you're kind of being attacked, to say, you know what, I'm trying to be calm, I'm trying to be quiet, but it's overwhelming what you're saying to me.
Next up is don't hesitate to apologize.
Yes, lots of people don't like to apologize. I am one of them, my husband will say. But apologies are nice. Apologies kind of make things calm down. I mean, only apology. If you didn't do anything wrong, I wouldn't just say you're sorry.
Meaningful apologies.
Exactly, it has to be meaningful. But sometimes taking ownership for saying, you know what, I did make a mistake. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that, will make the argument go from maybe a 10 and bring it down to a 4.
Lastly is focus on the problem and don't bring up past issues. I'm going to say that again, everybody. Focus on the problem and don't bring up past issues. This is a really big one.
This is a big one.
In so many relationships.
And absolutely, and I see it all the time. People will come in and they're talking about things that happened last week, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, bringing all that up, bringing up that old baggage. It doesn't do anything for the message at hand. You kind of lose what you're arguing about when you're bringing up things that happened a month ago. So really stay to the facts, stay to the emotion that you're feeling today. Bringing up old stuff, again, it makes a mess of what you're arguing about.
Let's say you've got couples that argue all the time. That is probably a situation where they should come and see somebody like you.
I say 80-20. 80% great and 20% not so great. That makes a really good combination.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Always great tips. Really appreciate it, Lisa. You can visit wisewomencanada.com to find out more about the organization and how they can help.